Good afternoon, everyone. Texas power prices 4x up due to extreme cold. Looks like this on the map, but if you thought that's cold, just wait until the 31st. Coldest snowstorm in over 100 years for Ottawa. Montreal seeing the exact same. Hasn't been this cold and snowy since 1920, even almost breaking into the top longest wind chill record. Power demand so high that Quebec now asking people to turn down their power, as well as others already lost power in the storm. And suddenly these blue roots. And during these uncertain times, I've teamed up with my Patriot Supply long-term food storage. A nice, affordable starter kit. 2-week food supply, 1,500 calories per day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinners, plus the 4-gallon storage containers included in that. This is a good first step in getting more self-sufficient. And if you click through the Prepare with ADAPT 2030 page in My Patriot Supply, you can get this starter kit for $75. Please remember there's a limit of 2 per household in this special offer. Starting over here in Texas, temperature dropped, power prices spiked. Spot power prices up 4 times over the average, as well as with the absolute spike at $140 per megawatt, that was 5 times the pricing. Now you can see as we're moving through this grand solar minimum intensification that as the cold waves sweep into different places, those with uninsulated homes, which were normally temperate climates, which are going to get colder, are now going to see different power demands through the season. Now taking a look at Texas here on the map, you can see the 16 to 20 degrees Celsius below normal temperatures, but if you thought that was interesting and really far south pushing, wait until January 31st, when 3/4 of the U.S. is going to experience 16 to 20 degrees Celsius below normal temperatures. And as I was researching for the video about power demand, I kept running across all of these different stories that I'd either covered or forgot about. February 2015, coldest in 115 years in Ottawa, and here we are just a couple years later, smashing another century mark. UK's coldest December in 100 years, coldest U.S. winter in a century. All we have to do is go back to 2014, 15, 16, and we see these century marks smashed again and again and again. Historic storm for Ottawa, coldest snowstorm in more than 100 years, minus 24 Celsius, over a foot of snow. And what I found most interesting, John Zwicker put up this image here of blue roots coming off of a tree. Trees are turning blue. I'll widen that out for you. I'm not sure the mechanism what causes these branches to freeze and turn blue. YOW weather records showing you all the prior snowstorms as well as totals with the temperatures. We've got to go back to February 8th, 1895. So when they say more than 100 years, it would actually be 125 years. Scenes like this will be normal even in April and May. So we can see the cold blob sitting over Louisiana, Texas, and then when we look up into Canada, we can start to see where this record cold was, minus 50 degrees Celsius, which is minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. As we progress through the 25th, this Arctic front is going to start to sweep into the U.S., especially Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. At the periphery edge there, extreme storms on your way. And then as we come through to the 31st, you can see that Arctic blast literally goes from the Arctic down to Mexico. And on the heels of all of this, now Montreal breaking a 100-year snowstorm record. Hasn't been seen anything like this since 1920. Environment Canada reporting. Thousands of snow removal trucks out. The problem was that it's so cold, the demand for electricity has been pushed to the limit of what they can generate with hydro. They're still selling a lot to the U.S. What they have internally, they're pulling from other provinces. So now they're asking people to please turn down your heat and only try to use heat and appliances in off hours. Even with all of this, there's an area already going down, thousands of people without power. Now this would be terrifying. It's minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside and you lost your power. You lost your heat. And with all the new regulations across the planet, you can't even have wood stoves in so many places anymore. So this is actually a life and death situation of having a wood stove for heating. And in the same article on IceAgeNow.info, Robert Felix's site, in the comment board down there, it talks about how much Hydro-Quebec is able to produce at this time. They're also planning to add another 1,500 megawatts, bringing it on by 2021. But yesterday's demand, 38,600 megawatts. That is at the brink of what they can produce during this time of the year. Now also, Montreal wind chills rate up silver medal, 80 hours of minus 26 degrees Celsius or lower wind chill factor. The only other time, 2004. So we're looking at a tie with a total duration of 80 hours, and you just wonder, it shows later on in the year, in 2004, it eclipses. So if it is true that our seasons are actually being pushed out a month or so, this record could possibly fall somewhere in February because it'll be a couple of weeks after what we're traditionally used to as the coldest time of the year. And with all this cold, at least you have beautiful scenery to look at. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. If you're interested in more information about the grand solar minimum, 30 minutes at a time on the go, mini Ice Age Conversations podcast, anywhere you can find a podcast hosted across the net, and a rundown of the social media feeds if you like to get your news in 1 minute or less.